stuff like that. But yeah, right before the
Yeah.
podcast, I I sold some of my Ethereum because I literally lost $150 in the past 2 days because of the crash, and it
Is it
just
going down? Yeah.
yeah. So I just like took some out, but I have like I didn't put all my money in Ethereum. I just had like some of it. So when it goes down, I can buy more, and I can get more Ethereum for the money I bought because it's cheaper. So yeah, it's kind of like a pro and a con, but I have some to talk about with like crypto stuff later on. But I remember like the other day in school, you said you wanted to talk about something on the basketball court.
Oh no, man! It was about that thing that I was pissing. It pissed me off. Like the people like. I actually was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and this guy that man, this guy was like super left, right? Like he had like so his mate. They were arguing about like if alpha males exist or not, right?
Yeah.
And okay, what do you think about that first before I tell you what they came up with?
Well, I think I might have seen the clip, and I kind of agree with Joe said. I think he said that it's not necessarily that alpha males exist. However, given the circumstances, you may be an alpha male in a certain environment, and you might not be in another. So, for
All
example,
right, so okay, so that's
yeah,
what the other party was arguing. That's what the left guy was arguing.
yeah, I agree with that. But like,
Okay,
it
okay,
would be like
but
this,
then
like,
what Joe
say like,
Rogan said
hold on, hold
was
on.
kind of like,
Say if like we're
uh,
playing soccer, right? You'd be like the king, right?
yeah,
But then we go to a basketball court, and you're not the king.
I guess, but then there is like an athletic, confident man is always going to be an athletic, confident man compared to
Yeah.
a guy who like has like social anxiety or whatever. One guy's
But actually, I think
always going to be superior to the other, like in terms of like the social status, no matter in what situation you're in, right?
true, but I think we need to like a good rule of thumb for this podcast. I think we need to kind of establish what we mean by alpha male. Like, if we want to discuss something, we need to have a common like agreement on what the word means. So, what do you
All
think?
right.
What, in your opinion, like, what does that word mean to you?
The person who's regarded by other people as like, the person everyone wants to be friends with, kind of. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right. So, like, high status.
yeah. I mean, say the guy with the most serotonin levels, right? With high serotonin levels, like the guy who's like, like success, like confident, and he knows that he's like at the top in a way, but like not in a cocky way, just like
I know what you're
you
saying.
know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So he like he's high status basically.
yeah. Okay, so for example, obviously a lot of people know this, right? But it's like, okay, so the guy who is like the best at football, right? Like the very best in a school where everyone, let's say everyone in a school or in an environment plays football, and that's like their favorite sport, and everyone's really into it. And there's this one guy who's like better than everyone else,
Yeah,
and obviously he's going to be like more confident because of it, and people are going to like praise him because of it,
yeah,
and obviously he's going to like, his behavior is gonna like resemble
yeah. I know what
what
you're saying.
everyone thinks about him and all that.
But what if you take that person, let's say they're like not very good at chess, and you put them in like a chess competition? You know, will people overlook him?
No, I think he'll still be, because it's like, okay, so no, I think it's because the confidence translates to other places, right? So if he goes to chess competition, even if he's not that good, he'll probably, unless he's like a cocky bitch, right? He'll recognize that he's not good and
Yeah,
be like all right with it, like, and he'll like joke around about it, he won't play a victim role. He'll play like a, so it's like, okay, so if you're in a chess competition,
yeah.
he will like make friends with the people around him.
So, so does that mean that being an alpha male, um, okay, so for example, right, you got someone who's super competent at like a sport, like football. Let's say Lionel Messi, right? Let's say
Yeah.
Lionel Messi was like autistic, right? And he just like was terrible socially, right? Um, if does that make him non-alpha male because he's not like if you put him in a room full of chess players, like he wouldn't be. the top dog anymore, and he wouldn't be able to like be the confident person. Right?
Yeah.
So do you
That's
think
okay. So what I think, yeah, because
confident?
what I think is that you gain the status of alpha male, but like being very competent at something. No, like okay, I don't know why I said that. So being really competent and competent at something gives you like this confidence and this like very like charming persona, and then you can translate that to other places, and and the confidence and the charisma. That's what makes you the alpha male, right? So it's like if you don't have the confidence or the charisma, you're not going to be the alpha male, right? I
Yeah.
think, like as I said, right, what I think makes you the alpha male is being the person people like and people want to be friends with, and people like genuinely want to be friends with you, right? Not just because of like you have money or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's like if you don't have the charisma and you're not like confident and you're not like fun or whatever, people are not gonna want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
And even if you're really good at football, you're not going to you're not going to be the alpha male.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and like as I said, right, it's kind of like what gives you that confidence and all that is being like the competent guy, right? So if you go to the gym, if you've been going to the gym every day for the last 10 years and you look like proper good, that's gonna give you the confidence, right? And I mean, obviously, you're competent at like going to the gym, right? You're competent with fitness and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not what makes you the alpha male. What makes you the alpha male is the confidence
So
that comes with it.
this is kind of like the what comes first, the chicken or the egg. So do you think that people get confidence from being competent, or do you think it's the other way around, or do you think it's both?
I don't know. I feel like people. Yeah, no, I think people get confidence from competence, right? I think competence comes first, but competence can be anything, right? It can be competence like so in an environment where there's imagine it's like you're living in a really cold climate where you can't really do sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're still going to sort yourself in some way, right? And it's like it might be just anything, right? It could be like even making a joke, right? You made the most successful jokes, and that's kind of like gives you that like confidence, and then you start talking. That confidence makes you speak more often than other people, and that makes you get more jokes out.
Yeah.
And eventually, that gives you that confidence and the status, and you become competent at like being funny and all that. But that all comes from the confidence comes from some level of competence.
I agree with that. Yeah. But that brings me to like my point, right? So let's say someone is good at football and they get put in like a room full of chess players, and let's say they became confident because they were competent at football. Now
Okay.
that they're playing chess, they're not like their confidence can't be kind of. I think they've kind of lost their they haven't lost their confidence, but like they can't prove to everyone how like competent they are, which is where their confidence comes from.
Well, I guess okay. So I think that depends. Okay, so what I'm saying, all right. So what you're saying is kind of like an alpha male in one place will not be more alpha than an alpha in another place, kind of. So it's like if you're the alpha male at football, you're not going to be the alpha male of chess players.
Do you think alpha males like exist?
No. Okay. I think I'm saying alpha male, but it's not kind of like I don't. I'm not saying like. I mean like the most confident guy, right? The people that people want to be friends with. That's what I mean. Like I don't. I feel like saying alpha male kind of like makes it seem like I'm talking about like someone who's like really big and strong and intimidating, but that's not what I mean, right? Because that's usually what it would be in like animals, but I think here it's kind of like confidence, right? So it's kind of like if you're the alpha male of football, yes, when you go to a chess match, right? The person who's already the most confident there will be more confident than you because
Yeah.
that's his environment.
But
Well,
they'll-
what I'm saying is,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. So what I'm saying is, if you're, let's say from a scale from 1 to 10, and let's say you're a 10 at football, when you go to a chess game or whatever, you will be like an 8 or a 7, right? But you want to drop all the way to 2 or all the way to
Yeah.
4. So what I'm saying is, if there's a guy playing chess and he's a 6 in the chess environment, then the guy that was an alpha playing football will still be above him in chess.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not like a video game where you have like level 7 confidence everywhere. It obviously changes.
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
situation,
Right. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I think obviously it deviates depending on where you are, but at the same time, I feel like if you're a 10, you're in one place. You're not going to drop all the way down in another place, right?
Yeah. I agree.
So it's like, okay, I got actually a good example for this, right? So when I was in Argentina, I was like really up there, right? And then when I moved to Ireland, since I didn't have the language, or and the people were just different, right? The culture is just different.
Yeah.
When I came to the school, like I was really confident when I first came in, but it's like in the first like month or two, I kind of realized that like
weren't
I'm
the
not up
top.
there
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah.
right?
That makes
But
sense.
it's like I was still confident when I just moved in. But no matter what the environment that I was in, I was still like confident. But it's only after I wasn't competent, right?
Yeah.
Once it was like proved to me that I wasn't competent in this environment compared to the other one, that like I stopped being like up there,
Yeah, but like that's just natural at the end of the day,
Yeah, right.
It's-
But it's like,
You have
I mean
people
that's
that have been
like
here
more
for, like,
extreme.
way longer than you have. They're able to build
Yeah.
up relationships. You're literally starting from nothing.
Exactly, right? So most people won't have that like extreme of a change, right? Because like I changed
Yeah.
completely, like everything around me changed. So other people won't have like that big of a change, and I don't know. I feel like so that's that's that, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's like a little bit of both, because obviously there's no set. Like, I don't think alpha males exist. Like, we're not wolves, you know what I mean? There's no real kind of use case for it, because you don't. I guess you can kind of say, if you look at like the animal kingdom, you look at like a troop of gorillas, like you can kind of see who the quote unquote alpha is, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that applies to us in the same way, because gorillas are very one-dimensional. They only really live in one environment. So we live in a bunch of different environments, obviously. Like
Yeah.
the classroom, potentially the office, like
Yeah, because like for
Business,
them it's kind
everywhere.
of like you need to be like the strongest, and that because otherwise you'll die, and that's
Yeah.
about it, right? Your focus is on not dying. While here, as humans, we don't need to worry about that,
But like a good analogy would be like a father, right? Like a father is probably the alpha, quote unquote alpha, like when he's in the house, right? But then he might go to work and he might not be the boss, right? So
Yeah.
in that environment, he may not be like the top dog or whatever.
But then again, like
It's
you can be more confident than your boss.
That's true.
Like just
but,
because you're not
like,
as qualified doesn't mean that you're not.
in most cases,
know.
the reason they are like the supervisor or the manager or the boss is because like they're kind of able to kind of control people and inspire people and have qualities are kind of
Yeah. Right. So they were like competent in other places, and that gave them the confidence, and now they're like carrying that on to like the work environment, right? So it's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
like the same point. Like it's like the guy may have been like quote unquote an alpha on another environment, and then when he moved to the work environment of the office, he kind of carried on that confidence, right?
Exactly, yeah. That's it.
So
though.
so yeah, I mean, and so I don't really. I know. I guess it's half and half, right?
Yeah, it's not black and
I'm
white.
kind of
like most
more on the side that there is alpha males. I don't know.
Well,
and I
you're not
think
wrong.
what he-
Like there are, but like it's not like
yeah, it's not to the extent that people think
Yeah.
it is, maybe.
Yeah, it's not like the meme where it's like the guy in the black and white and he has like the huge jaw, like.
Oh yeah. You know,
Because a lot of the time it has nothing to do with like how you look. It's more of how
yeah,
confident you are.
exactly. I think it's nothing about how you look and stuff. I think it's all about like how you
I-
carry yourself and
yeah.
how you behave.
Yeah.
So kind of like, okay, bro, you know the perfect example of an alpha male is like Tony Stark, right?
Yeah.
Like that guy, you know how he carries himself and how he's confident everywhere. And or like, I mean, usually just the main characters in many movies, right? It's kind of like the Peaky Blinders. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so you know Thomas Shelby, right? And it's like these people, how you carry yourself, and all that, right? So that's what makes you the alpha.
Exactly, yeah. It's all about it's just like it's another form of kind of marketing, if you want to call it that. Just how you present yourself to people.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this someone
So
that I want to be a part of, I guess.
right, but it's like you know if they were actual people, you know you kind of aspire to be them, right? In a
Yeah.
way,
Sure.
and that's kind of what an alpha male is, right? You aspire to be the best person in your tribe in a way, you know.
Yeah. That's true. Like
Yes.
we're kind of simple creatures, you know.
You
Like
know,
if
you know,
if someone looks like they're a useful person, and we'll kind of gravitate towards them.
yeah, and you know what was like interesting? He made like an argument that I was like, kind of like stopped me in my tracks for a minute, which was like it wasn't really related to it, but it's kind of like people. He said that like people that have like a preconceived notion, right? Okay, so he gave the example of climate change, right? So let's say climate change is real, and like obviously we all know that, but it's kind of like
It's like I
if
think
you're
it's
an
real, but
anti-climate change person,
like
and you build your
I'm kind of skeptical.
sorry,
Like I don't think it's
are you?
well, I believe it's real, but I also
Yeah.
I'm aware that there's a lot of propaganda as well around it. Like
Bro, I actually agree with that also. No, I know about that. So I think that it's real, but it's and even if it was, let's say it was the biggest problem, we don't have an efficient answer to it that's actually like worth doing. So it's like, for example, there's this guy. It was like, bro, it was Bjorn something who wrote a book. He had a podcast with Jordan Peterson, right?
yeah,
He wrote a book about like how we spend like, okay, actually I'll search it up real quick, but it's something like how we spend like billions on climate change. We fail to solve it, and we're like
yeah, it's
affecting
very
the
true.
poor by doing it.
Yeah, because look, these are companies like remember I was saying the other day about charities and stuff. Like this doesn't go for every single what would you call it, philanthropic kind of company, non-profit. Like a lot of these companies, like if they solve the problem that they're aiming to, quote unquote, aiming to fix, and they go out of business, right? I'm not saying that every single climate change country or company is with ill intent, but like if all that money went to use, then I think they'd do a lot more, or we'd be a lot further along. Like the main issue with climate change is large manufacturing companies, and people are expected to not use paper straws, and it's these very kind of like low tier kind of you can help out kind of thing, where it's like
Yeah, but it doesn't really,
the
to the
individual
scale
isn't
of the problem, it doesn't do
yeah,
much.
like the individual isn't the problem, it's the
Yeah.
large company, you know. So
Yeah, so the book.
it's,
Sorry.
it's like it's been marketed to people. I'm trying to think how they make money though. Like I'm not too educated, you know.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the book is how climate change panic costs us trillions, hurt the poor, and fails to fix the planet, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like because we don't actually know what to do, and it's like the solution to it is actually like very expensive. Well, there's like could be spending that money, like so there's it was something about like we can spend $1, and that dollar in a certain problem may be worth like $1,000, while in climate change it's only worth like $5, right? So
Yeah.
what he did, which was interesting, is he got like a group of like people, fucking accounting people or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like businessmen or something.
Yeah, of course.
And
Yeah.
that won like Nobel prizes and stuff, right? So like the top of the top, and he made them. He got like, let's say 50 of them. He probably didn't. He probably like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And then he told them to get their own group, right? To like hire other people, right? So and then they hired people, and then those people hired people, and they kind of like had this like massive groups of people like working
Yeah.
to kind of like sort out which problem was like
It's like a pyramid scheme.
yeah. So like which problem was like the most efficient to solve, right? So it's kind of like if you spend €1, which one, where can you spend it for it to be the
Yeah,
the
I know
biggest
exactly
use,
what you're
right?
saying. It's like, where is the money most efficiently spent?
Yeah, and climate change was not even in the top 100, bro. It was just not,
Yeah,
because
that
it
makes
was
sense.
just so inefficient, right?
But
So I'm pretty sure
you could
the-
also
the
argue
first-
though. You could also argue though that like, because obviously we spend money on space, right?
Yeah,
So
I guess.
like we don't spend our money the most efficiently, right? However, if you want to argue with space, if we don't spend money on space, like we're all gonna die.
I mean, but then again, it's like,
Like,
you know,
see-
the thing about space is that, okay, so for example, Elon Musk, right?
Mhm.
I mean, he's using his own money to go to space, right? He's like a private company, right? So it's not like we're not like, we're not paying in taxes for
that is
Elon
true.
Musk, right? So if he's doing that with his money, why? Because he wants to, right? It's like it's his money; he can do whatever he wants with it, right?
No,
I don't like.
I want to talk about like what I'm gonna be working on
Okay.
this summer, basically. With like, I wrote up like a quick like, pretty vague business plan, I guess, for the summer. So remember back
Is this like Is this like the 100K NFT?
No, I've kind of like stopped that. I just think it's kind of lame, and I don't think it's going to be viable because there's so much.
Really?
Well, I think it's going to be viable, but it's just not a good use of my time compared to like what this is. Like,
Okay.
so essentially, what it is I'm gonna build an agency that that basically allows public figures in the finance space, in the like beginner e-commerce dropshipping, like crypto trading, day trading kind of space, like online money space. It's basically an agency that builds an NFT project for these guys. So, for example, like if you're someone who has a private trading Discord and teaches people how to day trade, I would pitch to you. Basically, I'm gonna pitch to you like I'm gonna build a whole NFT project. I'm gonna do all the work for you, everything, and all you have to do is basically market it to your followers, right? And if you have a large enough audience, and you could easily sell out 3,000 units for like 0.05 each, which is like $400,000, right? And I'd take like a percentage cut, and I'd say no upfront money whatsoever, and I just like build out the whole project. So basically,
Alright, so you basically get an audience, like, from
Yeah.
from them.
so it's like influencer marketing, and like what's so cool about it to me is I don't know anyone who's thought of this, right, or is doing it the way I plan on doing it. And what I have kind of like uniquely to basically everyone else, I don't think anyone else is doing this, but if they're, I don't think they have what I have. So what I'm thinking of doing is, what I'm going to do is, I'm not sure if you remember back in September when I was going to do the agency thing, right?
Yeah,
With the emails, right?
I do.
So with the emails, it's basically a way of contacting people that most people don't really know about, like warming up an email, finding their LinkedIn, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be able to do that and contact these YouTubers with like hopefully above 500k subscribers, right?
Yeah, and
And
you've been following them for a long time now, so it'll be easy for you to like make it a personal email.
kind of, yeah, that's true. But like most of them, I'd say I won't know because I'm just gonna like build a big spreadsheet and just kind of do that. But yeah, like that's kind of the way it's gonna work, and I'm just gonna hopefully be able to launch like a project every 12 months minimum, and I just think it has a whole, it's very like has a very high upside, you know.
How
Um,
much of the how much percentage of
probably
will you take?
probably 30%.
All right,
Or
and you'll do all the work, and they basically market it.
yeah, basically, because at the end of the day, they have leverage, they have an audience, and the reason
Right.
I
I
think
mean,
this is
yeah, you need them kind of like.
yeah, but they also need me as well, because they probably don't know anything about running a project. So the reason I
Do
think this
you?
is like, yeah, I
How do you know about like the NFTs and stuff? Just YouTube, yeah.
yeah, just YouTube, and like I've obviously like been parts of like communities and stuff, and I'm actually gonna invest in an NFT called the NFT Academy, which basically it's literally like my whole model, which is it gives me access to videos and exclusive content on how to build an NFT project and how to run it as a business so it doesn't like fall apart, right? So
Yeah.
essentially the agency, like I have this whole vision in my head of like just like a website with like a bunch of testimonials on it and people that we work with, and like it's just gonna, I just think it has so much potential, especially the way the NFTs are going. They're just gonna keep getting more popular and people are gonna just get more warm to the idea, I guess. But there's only one issue that I can think of, which is basically if you're an influencer whose audience doesn't know anything about NFTs, they're probably gonna think it's like a cash grab, right? Or um, a scam, basically. So I'll have to do a lot of work. I think where the work is gonna go is creating like content on basically giving these influencers uh, a blueprint on how to kind of present the idea to the followers. And I guess what I'd probably do is I'd have them present the idea before I do any work, just to see how they react. Because obviously, if they think it's bad, then why would I go ahead, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a kind of a win-win-win situation because, first of all, the influencer gets like a big bag, potentially like 300,000, off like a medium-sized drop. So obviously 300,000 is not a small amount of money.
Yeah, yeah.
The holder of the NFT gets the exclusive content that they're obviously paid for it, and as well when they're done with the content and all like the perks could even be like a monthly AMA with the influencer. The perks could be uh, you can get like exclusive access to exclusive merch and all this stuff. But like when they're done with it, say like they grow up and they're not a fan anymore of the influencer, what they can do is they can sell it to someone who's recently just found out about him, and they can get their money back essentially if the NFT remains or goes higher. If the NFT drops in value, it means that the influencer hasn't provided the value for it, right? So
Yeah.
anyone that comes along can see the floor on the project and see what price did it mint at and what price is it at now. And let's say it minted at 0.5 or 0.05, which is kind of what I'm thinking. And they go onto the OpenSea page or whatever marketplace is popular at the time, and they see it's dropped 50%. Then that's like a red flag in their head. And they're like, oh, people do not think this is worth what they paid for it. So it's obviously like, why would I buy a course that people don't like, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to be like my kind of passion project for the summer. I'm also just going to be having like the NFTs and the ecom stuff just to kind of not fund it, but like just because obviously I don't want to be in a position where I can't pay for stuff, right? Like I can't
Yeah.
pay for an engineer, or I can't pay for like a Solidity developer, or I can't pay like an artist to make the art and stuff. But yeah, I just think it's a really cool offer, and I don't think many people are gonna do it the way I'm planning on doing it, because I'm gonna take it very seriously. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. And then you have like so much time to work on it over the summer. So
Yeah.
and college will also start like, you know, you have like 4 months or 3 months till college starts.
Yeah, about 3 months, 4 months.
And even like, okay, like I'm not saying anything here, right? But it's kind of like if it works out like really well, then you can even like not go to college. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll probably still go though, just because like my mom.
Yeah, I know, but it's kind of like if you
My dad.
to like get more time, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Depending on
No,
like
no, okay,
how
I'm not like trying to convince you to drop out of college. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
know.
that's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, I know.
But
yeah,
then again, like you
pretty
probably
sick.
have a lot of free time anyways at the beginning.
Yeah, quote unquote free time, but like, I think
Okay,
know. You can always
but
fill
no,
your time, I guess.
yeah, no, but it's like, you know, college hours are not the same as school hours, right?
You're
You
right,
have
you're
like a lot more. Like, okay, like you won't spend like 6 hours a day in school in college. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I wonder if we
I
could get
mean,
like a widget.
can you? What?
Well, sorry, go ahead. Let me just answer. I think the way it works is like not every day is the same. So you might be called in for like 1 o'clock, and you'll stay in for 3 hours, or you might be called in for 9, and then you'll stay until 6 o'clock. So it really depends on the day. It's like more flexible, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously, again, not recommending this, but you can also just not show up to the class and no one will care.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
But
it's kind of like, you know.
it's really your loss because you're paying for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to like pay for my college actually.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like work during the summer just so I can like pay for the college.
But you can get a loan, right?
Yeah. And
And the best part is, like, the loans.
if I get to Trinity, my parents said if I get to Trinity, I'm actually going to get a car. So.
Oh really? Nice.
Yeah, okay, obviously not a good one, and honestly, like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
bro,
yeah.
I actually really don't care. Like,
Yes. Of
okay.
course, like,
it's like if I don't get to Trinity, like it's not enough of an incentive for me. You know what I mean? I just don't. Like, yes, okay, obviously a car is like a big price, but it's just like I just don't need it. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I'm not really too like. I don't know. That just the idea of a car doesn't like excite
Exactly,
me.
right?
You know.
So
Like,
okay, so
I don't
I know
care.
that a lot of people, especially maybe depending where they live, they'll
Yeah.
like need a car and they'll be driving all the time and stuff. But
Yeah.
me, bro, I got like everything like really close by, and it's like
And
I
also,
just don't need
the
I just
way
don't
view
need the
it,
car, you
I just view it as
Huh?
a huge. I just view the idea of like a car as like a huge kind of liability.
know.
Not
You know,
in that way. Not in that way. What I mean is like, say like, the tire breaks or something. I don't know how it works.
oh yeah.
Then you have to pay
And then
for
I'll
it.
be like, yeah. But and it's like, bro, but it's like there's so many people that are like, you know, trying their hardest to get a car. You know, like working a
Like,
lot to get a
all
car.
their money is
and
going
it's
into
like,
this thing.
yeah, and here I am, like being like, oh, it's not enough of an incentive for me, you know. I sound like like so fucking spoiled, but
Yeah.
I actually just don't. Like, I don't know, I just don't need it, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Like,
But hey, man, I'll
personal.
take it. Like, fuck it, like.
If I had the amount of money like to buy a car, I wouldn't buy a car. Like, I just
Would
wouldn't.
you not?
Nah.
Oh, yeah, you like invested again.
Actually, speaking of which, do you know what TikTok organic is?
TikTok organic?
Yeah.
No.
So basically, what it is it's you make a. It's like, let's say you have a product, right?
Yeah.
You make a video on TikTok that makes the product look really cool, basically, and like captures people's attention, and then you put the link in the bio to your Shopify store in the bio. So you're dropshipping, but there's no ad expense.
Oh, okay. So,
Right.
so instead of doing ads, you just make like actual videos.
Yeah, but I have a friend. Wait. Yeah, I have a friend who like bought this course from a guy called Josh Lavati, and
Okay.
it's basically a course on how to kind of market the stuff. There's like it costs like $500, right? So I think I'm gonna try to get a job for the summer, depending on like how things go, and I might just pay for the course and then just leave the job, potentially. And I was
Wait,
thinking,
I didn't get the last part. Sorry.
sorry, so I'm trying to get a job for the summer, and if I get the job, I said I'll probably just leave it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'll probably just stick with the job, and then just kind of like invest in whatever. But like, I'll have the course on how to do the TikTok organic, and the only thing you need to pay for with the TikTok organic is the product itself, because likely you'll be making the content, right?
Yeah.
But there's no product cost. So usually with e-commerce, the profit margins are like 20%, right? With this, it's more so 60%, because you're only paying for the product, right? So
Right.
it's a lot easier to get started,
Yeah,
because you're not burning money on
but it's
ads.
like harder to advertise it.
Not
right?
necessarily with the TikTok,
unless your video is like proper good.
but that's where the course comes in. So the course is like $500, right?
All right.
I'm probably gonna buy it. Yeah, I'm probably gonna buy
I mean,
it.
that's the kind of money that you lose in your mints anyway, right? So.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean like that's. Come on, like I can't lose that. Like I can't lose that kind of money and not like be really sad about it, you know?
Yeah, no, of course, especially now, like.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, like,
Bro,
I think
how sick? How sick will it be? Just like looking at this in like 17 years from now, right? Because like we're both 17, right? So
Yeah.
when we double our age, just looking back at this and just like
laughing
seeing.
about it and stuff.
Yeah, no, but just like seeing, like, you know, because obviously we have like dreams in a way, like,
Yeah.
you know, things that we want to achieve, objectives and stuff like that, and then, you know, being like 17 years from now and like just knowing exactly how things went,
Yeah.
and
But
just
not
seeing
even that,
like
like,
how now it's all like speculation, right?
You see, we can look
But
back
in
at
the
this
future.
in 3 months, like, or 6 months after the summer is out, and we can kind of like judge on how we kind of did, you know?
Yeah, but it's crazy as well, like how, you know, only 17 years from now, like double our age will only be 34.
Yeah. Or
That's crazy to
in
me.
10 years we'll be like 28.
Sorry, man. Sorry. All
Yeah,
right.
no problem.
I'm just gonna have. I need to go have lunch, like right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, we can like end it there. Like, I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. We spent like an hour, right?
Yeah, and like I'll cut out when we were like scrambling with the maths, but I think I'll leave everything else in, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be like the longest podcast for the first one. You know what
Of course
I mean?
not, no. I mean, at the end of the day, like it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
For sure. And then, bro, you know that's still crazy though. Like just how, you know, even if we do keep doing this, right?
Yeah.
So like in the future, in like years, and just see the progression, you know.
Yeah, and
From like
the skill as well.
40-minute video to like, you know,
like even like the
20
skill,
hour.
like because obviously podcasting is a skill, right? So I think we did pretty good on our first one, honestly.